Hello, everyone, and welcome to Financial Accounting. Today, we continue with the topic called the accounting cycle, capturing economic events. We will look at more examples of how transactions are recorded in the ledger or T accounts. We will also learn how transactions are recorded in the accounting journal and posted to the general ledger. I have a good video where we discuss the rules of debit and credit in great detail. I'm posting the link right here and in the description box of this video. As we already learned, we use a T account to represent a general ledger account. The left side of a T account is always called the debit side, and the right side is always called the credit side. Here are the dates and amounts of transactions that impacted the cash account in the examples that we are going to cover today. Since cash is an asset account, it is increased by debit and decreased by credit. In the T account on the screen, all cash receipts are increases and are placed on the debit or left side of the ledger account. And all cash payments are decreases and are placed on the right side. Remember that as a convention of double entry accounting, a debit or left side of an asset account will represent an increase in the asset account balance. This convention determines all of the remaining math. Because liabilities and equity have the opposite sign of assets, a debit to a liability or equity account must mean a decrease, and credit means an increase. Accountants use the double entry accounting system. This means that all transactions will have an equal dollar amount of debits and credits. Now let's look at more examples and review the transactions of J.J.'s Lawn Care and how to place the amount of each transaction in the proper ledger account. On May 1st, Jill Jones and her family invested $8,000 in J.J.'s Lawn Care and received 800 shares of capital stock. How do you think this transaction needs to be recorded? The cash account increased, so $8,000 was placed on the left or debit side of the ledger account. A debit to an asset account means an increase. The capital stock account was increased or credited for $8,000. A credit to an equity account represents an increase in the account. This results in an equal debit and credit impact in the transaction. We have followed the rules of double entry accounting. In the next transaction, J.J.'s Lawn Care purchased the riding lawn mower for $2,500 cash. You need to decide which account increases and which decreases before determining which side of the ledger account or T account will be used to record the amounts involved. The cash account will decrease by $2,500. A decrease in an asset account is shown with a credit. This amount is recorded on the credit or right side of the ledger account. The asset account, called tools and equipment, increased. An increase is shown in an asset account with a debit. The $2,500 is recorded on the debit or left side of the ledger account. J.J.'s Lawn Care purchased a truck, paying $2,000 cash and signing a note for the balance of $13,000. The truck account is an asset. An increase in an asset account is shown with a debit. First, you need to calculate how much to record in the truck account. Since we paid cash and signed a note, the total to record in the truck account is $2,000 plus $13,000 is $50,000. The cost of the truck, $15,000, is placed on the debit or left side of the ledger account. Because cash was paid, the cash account will decrease by $2,000. A decrease in an asset account is shown with a credit. The payment is placed on the credit or right side of the cash ledger account. The notes payable account is a liability. The account balance increased because now the company owes $13,000 to the bank. An increase in a liability account is shown with a credit. So the $13,000 is placed on the credit or right side of the note payable ledger account. Remember that the rules for liability accounts are the opposite of the rules of asset accounts. J.J.'s Lawn Care purchased 3 repair parts for the riding lawn mower in the amount of $300. The company promised to pay the amount to the supplier at some point in the future. Remember that you need to determine the nature of the accounts involved when deciding on decreases or increases. This decision will help place the amount on the correct side of the ledger accounts involved. The asset account called Tools and Equipment increased. Increases in asset accounts are shown on the debit or left side of the ledger account. So $300 is placed on the debit side of the Tools and Equipment account. Accounts payable, a liability account, increased by $300. Increases in liability accounts are shown as credits. The amount involved is placed on the credit or right side of the accounts payable T account. J.J.'s Lawn Care sold 1/2 of its repair parts for their original cost, or $150, to ABC Loans. ABC Loans agreed to pay the amount due in 30 days. The asset account, called Accounts Receivable, increased by $150. Increases in asset accounts are shown as debits. The amount is placed on the debit or left side of the accounts receivable account. Transactions are recorded in the journal in chronological order and then posted to the general ledger. The ledger groups together all transactions that impact a particular account. When preparing a journal entry, always list debit amounts first and show credit amounts below the debits, indented slightly. Proper form requires that each journal entry be followed by a short description of the transaction. Transactions are posted from the journal into the ledger accounts. A general ledger is the master set of accounts that summarize all transactions occurring within an entity. Posting to the ledger is the process of systematically copying information from the journals to the ledger. This is usually done automatically by the accounting software. Take a look at the journal entry on the screen. Let's see how this information from the journal is posted to the ledger. Debits are posted on the debit side of the ledger account. In our example, we are posting an $8,000 debit to the cash account. Now let's post the credit side of the journal entry. $8,000 credit is posted on the credit side of the capital stock account. Take a look at the journal entry to record the purchase of the riding lawn mower. Let's see what the cash ledger account will look like after posting the cash portion of this journal entry. Note that cash decreased in the transaction, so it should be posted on the credit side. The posting was properly placed in the credit or decrease column of the cash ledger account. The balance in the account is updated and is currently $5,500. In accounting, a T account is frequently used to represent a ledger account. You can see the red lines that show how we get the term T account. The T account is a simple way to debit or credit a ledger account for illustration purposes. T accounts are not part of the accounting system. That's all for today. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you found it helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. I will see you soon.